So right now, there are 440 nuclear reactors operational, large ones, more than any time in history, and the number's growing rapidly. We were fully funded to do our drill program, but investors asked us to increase the size for years now. We've drilled it a few times earlier from 2020 to 22, and now we're going back for the first time in 4 years, armed with incredible data, ready to drill it again.
Welcome to the Market Frontlines. I'm Lyndsay Malchuk. Now, the uranium story is heating up again, but this time the stakes feel different. And here's why. Governments are pushing for energy security. Nuclear demand is climbing, and investors are looking for the next wave of discovery stories before the market fully catches on. Joining me today is Jon Bey, CEO of Standard Uranium, a company focused on unlocking high-grade uranium potential in the Athabasca Basin, one of the most prolific uranium districts in the world. With upcoming catalysts on the horizon, an active drill program at Davidson River, and a growing push to expand its global shareholder base, there's a lot happening behind the scenes right now. Jon, it is so great to have you in studio with us.
Well, thank you very much. Great to be here.
Yeah, you know, I usually see you around the world, so it's nice being in home base right now.
It's pretty surreal, isn't it, being in Vancouver and doing a face-to-face interview?
Right? It's unheard of. Okay, we don't have a lot of time, so let's jump into this. Uranium sentiment, we all see it. It's really heating up again. However, investors have seen this trade multiple times before. So, as Standard Uranium moves towards its next catalyst, what gives you the confidence the company can separate itself from the wave of uranium juniors that are largely still trading on, we'll say, anticipation rather than real execution?
Well, great question. I'd say the biggest differentiator that separates uranium exploration companies is a major discovery.
Okay.
And that's what we're all pushing for. We're all doing out there raising capital, doing exploration programs, trying to get to a drill program that can have a significant impact. For us, it's Davidson River. It's our flagship project. We built our company around it back in 2018. We've been pushing towards the drill program we're about to start next week for years now. We've drilled it a few times earlier from 2020 to 22, and now we're going back for the first time in 4 years, armed with incredible data, ready to drill it again. And on top of that, we were fully funded to do our drill program, but investors asked us to increase the size. So today we launched a financing for an additional $4 million to increase the size of that drill program, and drill starts spinning in about a week.
Oh my gosh, that is big news right there. And that's, that's a big testament to what you guys are producing and what they're seeing as an investor base going, time to expand, let's do that.
Yeah, one of the biggest costs when you're running an exploration and drill program is mobilization, getting the drill crews in, getting the drill crews out, and the helicopters supported. So if you can add on more meters while you're in the field, it's best to do so. So that's what our investors keep telling us. You're there, let's go drill more, add more meters to it. So we're going to do that.
Great insights. Okay, so let's keep talking about Davidson River right now. Obviously, as you mentioned, it's a major focus for the company right now. Again, investors are also becoming very sticky about those exploration stories. So they don't want just the drill results anymore. They want to see evidence of a project that can actually move the needle. So from your point of view, what is it about Davidson River right now that gives you also the confidence that it is more than just another exploration headline?
Yeah, so that's a great question. We get asked that all the time. And if you look in the Athabasca Basin, which you mentioned is probably the greatest district in the world for uranium, for high-grade discoveries, what I like to look at is the southwest corner. That is the region where our Davidson River project is. To me, that's going to be the most exciting region in the Athabasca Basin for decades to come. And you ask me, why is that? Well, right across the street from Davidson River, we have NexGen Energy's Arrow Rook project. That just got federally approved to start construction right now. So they're starting to build. It'll be a full mine and a mill ready in about 3.5, 4 years. So by 2030, that'll be producing, tens of millions of pounds of uranium a year. Right next door to that is Paladin Energy's RRR project, and that one's probably a few years behind NexGen. So that project's a beautiful, 100 million pounds as well. And then right next door to that is Standard Uranium's Davidson River project. On top of that, we're a 15 million market cap company. Below us is Orano, 30 billion. Above us is Cameco, 70 billion. Then you have Paladin, 5 billion, Denison, 5 billion, NexGen, 12 billion. We're 15 million market cap with 31,000 hectare acreage project we're about to drill. And this is the region that if you make a discovery, we're not looking for small things. We're looking for a monster high-grade discovery similar to that Arrow project. That's what we're trying to do for our shareholders. Get into that and drill something spectacular.
Yeah, that's huge right there. What do you want to do? Do you want to take over? Like, what do you want to do?
Good question. We do not want to build a mine. We're not a mining company.
All right.
We are exploration. We're going to discover, take that to a feasibility study probably, maybe depending on when the offer is coming in. We know we've got a number of large cap companies watching us very closely. Several of those are under CA. They want us to make a discovery and they want to take us out. So ideally, we would separate the Davidson River project out of our portfolio and sell just a project and continue to do what we do on other projects.
Well, we hear so much about uranium right now. It's uranium. You know, everybody's wanting to talk about it. The governments are looking at it. It's becoming very critical, all the things. You're in the space directly. What are you seeing on your end, on even like the government side and everything like that?
Well, let's go back in time a few years. Like when we started this company at the end of 2017 and we started talking about nuclear and uranium, nobody cared. The investors didn't care. The brokers didn't care. The bankers didn't care. Fast forward a few years, it started to get a little better. And then when we get into 2023, Sprott came into the market and created their SPUT fund, and they started gobbling up uranium off the spot market. And that caused the price of uranium to go from $50 to $110 in a very short period. People started noticing. They started talking about uranium. Investors started getting knowledgeable about what's going on. What is uranium used for? What's a supply-demand scenario? And I think people are now really starting to understand that. So when I'm out marketing right now, when I was in Europe last week, the investors actually know the good questions to ask. They know what's the uranium's used for, where it's coming from, what about the Athabasca Basin, what about our project specifically. And several of those investors are invested in many of our peers as well. So we're seeing the knowledge base really pick up. And it's a great time to be talking about uranium.
It really is. And there is still some education that's needed around it. So I'm going to take it back to the very basics. What is uranium used for? And tell us about the Athabasca Basin.
Well, uranium primarily is for nuclear power. So it is the fuel that powers nuclear reactors. And that is, 99% of what we see it used for in the globe right now. Some medical isotopes as well. Previously, there were some weapons involved, but that's not what we do at all. So investors always want to know, is this nuclear weapons? No, it's not. It's uranium powering nuclear reactors. And the demand for nuclear reactors globally is at an exceptionally growth spurt right now. So right now, there are 440 nuclear reactors operational, large ones, more than any time in history, and the number is growing rapidly. There's 70 under construction right now, another 100 in the queue being planned, and I think every other nation around the world is talking about how do they get their energy mix more clean energy, and nuclear is a big part of that. We're also talking about energy security. Countries want to know that they can have energy security if the shit hits the fan, so to say.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that happen in Iran right now, where that Strait of Hormuz is closed and oil and gas is not getting through. And countries that depend on that are really having a hard think about where they're going to get their energy from. This happened before, back in the late 70s, and that was another sticking point that really led to the build-out of nuclear again. The Americans built out massive amounts of nuclear, as did the Japanese, and we're starting to see people rethink how they're going to rebuild their nuclear fleets again.
Absolutely, that's what we're seeing. So we're seeing a lot of people going, how do we keep up with the supply that we need at home?
Yeah.
Wow, that's huge. Okay, so we're going to look at the bigger picture here. Standard Uranium is clearly working to expand its global shareholder base, 100%. At a time when really capital is becoming much harder to compete for. 100%. How important is that international strategy for you guys right now?
I think it's for multiple levels. It's really important for us. We're trying to diversify our shareholder base across the globe. So, look, we're speaking to primarily our whole shareholder base has been North America, and I'm mostly Canadian with some Americans. We've got some exposure in Europe over the past number of years. We're pushing into that market more. I mean, we really wanted to go into the German market years ago, but then as we started going down that path, COVID happened, and it really sidetracked that. And now we see an opportunity to get back in that market. We're hearing a lot from European investors, Germany specifically, who are really, inquiring, asking us a lot of questions. So we're making that a part of our strategy to go over, speak to those investors. I was also just over in Hong Kong and Singapore, and that market is opening up again. It was a big mining market, a decade ago. It really went quiet, and now it's resurging again. So when we were in Hong Kong, the markets were saying, look, mining is back. It's time to get invested, look at mining projects, and uranium is hot over there as well.
It is. And I know that, a lot of our audience, they're very European based, specifically German speaking regions. And they do their due diligence far more than what we normally see over in North America, for sure. What is the one question that you have been asked by, we'll say over in the German markets, that you have not been really asked much here in Americas?
That's a good question. I would say, the level of expertise that I'm hearing from some of those investors is higher to a degree. When we have small dinners or small lunches, when they show up to those meetings, they don't show up just wanting to learn. They've got a list of questions they want to ask. And those questions range from macro story all the way down to the nuclear fuel cycle, right into the specifics of our drill programs and each project that we're working on. They've done their research. They know about each project. They want to know about certain individuals on my team, how they're doing, if they're staying with us, if they're getting poached, which is interesting to hear because staffing and really having the exploration geologist to do the work is crucial, and there's not a lot of them out there. So you got to hold your team together and build your team if you want to explore in the Athabasca Basin.
Well, I'm going to hold that right there for a second because it's a really good point you made. You can have the best asset, you can have really great drill results, but it starts from the top and your management team. So I really want to bring that into the highlight a little bit. Tell us about your management team and, obviously you're a geologist and everything like that.
So I can tell you when we started this company, one of the first things I did was build up my board of directors with an equal share of capital markets expertise and uranium exploration and geologist expertise. So Neil McCallum was one of the first geologists I brought on. He's a well-known geologist in Canada. He works in the uranium and lithium space, currently the VP of exploration for Q2 Metals. We also brought over Garrett Ainsworth from NexGen. He was their VP of exploration. When he left NexGen, he joined us right away. And Garrett brought over one of his favorite geologists, a guy named Sean Hillacre. So Sean is now our VP of exploration and our president. Sean brings with him 7 years of experience at NexGen, working with Garrett and the team, really getting to know that project. He actually did his master's degree on the Arrow project. So having Sean lead our team and knowing the rocks in that region where Davidson River is, it's instrumental. On top of that, Sean has got a great network. So he brought over another 4 geologists from Orano, from Denison and NexGen, brought them onto our team. So we've got a really young, hungry, talented, smart team of geologists that run our programs. Not only our flagship, but all the other projects in our portfolio that we JV out, we operate all those as well.
Oh my gosh. What about the community you're in? I mean, Athabasca Basin, Saskatchewan. Tell us about Saskatchewan.
Well, first of all, it's a province that is dear to my heart. I spent, my high school years living in Moose Jaw, and then I've come back and forth to Saskatoon, where our technical office is. So I love going back home to Saskatchewan. It has everything you need in the province that wants to be involved in mining. The province provincially supports mining. The First Nations support mining. It's got a great workforce. And speaking of our First Nations partners, the Athabasca Basin has got multiple groups of First Nations, but in the southwest corner where our flagship is, that's the CRDN, the Clearwater River Dene Nation. Great partners and friends of ours. We've been working with them very closely since we started this company, and they speak very highly of us, and they love our transparency and the relationship we have with them. I can't wait to get back to our project and see Chief Clark and Cam and all the guys that are involved there, because they become good buddies of ours. And look, whenever we need to get permits done, they're the first ones to put their hands up and press the government to get those permits for us. So having a good relationship with your First Nations partners is essential.
Yeah.
And not only that, I mean, we're also in the north, where our Sundog project is near Uranium City, and on the eastern side in the southeast. And there's different First Nations to work with. And I'm happy to say that we've got relationships and agreements on all of our projects. So that is very unusual. And we're very proud of the work that our team does to make sure that's in place.
100%. So here in BC, we have these agreements in place with the Canadian government. And it's a 30 by 30 agreement. Do you know about this?
I've heard about it. I've been watching BC.
Okay.
And I've been avoiding BC because of it.
Okay, so while I was in London, and I just did a post about this on LinkedIn too. So the 30 by 30, for those that don't know, is 30% of the land will be protected by 2030. Now, if you put in all the factors, not just what the government is putting in place, they're actually well over the 30% right now. What are you seeing in Saskatchewan? I mean, do you talk to partners in the exploration sector in BC and see what we're up against here? Like, what are you seeing, actually?
Yeah, I do. I mean, part of being in Saskatchewan, our company belongs to the SMA, Saskatchewan Mineral Association, and we are on that committee with all the other mining companies that choose to join that group, and they're very proactive, and we're very get all the information from the government, and they work on our behalf, work with the government and First Nations. So, look, there are so many factors that come together in making a province an attractive place to invest and to work, and I think Saskatchewan's got to be one of the top 2 or 3 in the globe every year, ranked on the Fraser report. So. Yeah. It's because of the work the government does, SMA does, the First Nations do, working with our companies because they want work. You hear all these negative comments about First Nations groups not wanting people to come to their land. That's not true at all. They want people to have opportunity. They want to have jobs. They want to have future for their kids, their grandkids, for generations to come. And that's what mining can do for these communities.
That's right.
So I'm pretty happy to be working there. Saskatchewan's a great place. I know many of my friends and peers who work in BC, and they're telling me about issues around permitting and having issues in the regulatory. And it's just getting tougher and tougher because uncertainty, unclarity. And that is, it's tough. It's tough to watch. And for me personally, I'm not involved in any BC companies right now, and I'm going to stay out of that until this, because I've got enough on my plate in Saskatchewan.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. We've run out of time. However, if an investor, say in Germany or somewhere in Europe, was looking at Standard Uranium, what is the one thing that you would want them to know right out of the gate?
First of all, continue to do your research. Go onto our website. All the materials are there. You can see all kinds of videos that we make, all kinds of interviews. We give all the information you'll need. Look, really understand the fact that we are junior exploration. We are looking to make a major discovery. That's where the big home run is going to be for the investors. We're going to have other deals done. We're going to get JV deals done on our other project, which drives revenue in. But we are a company with a 15 million market cap right now with a home run potential Davidson River project. We've got multiple other projects in our portfolio that we JV at with other companies. And we're trading at a discount to where I believe we should be. And we're drilling starting next week all summer long. So a big drill program on Davidson River, which is going to be hopefully a company maker.
Oh my gosh, I'm excited to hear about this, and I will be watching, that's for sure. Thank you again for joining me.
You're welcome. Let's make sure you get up to Saskatchewan sometime for a site tour.
You betcha I will. Again, that was Jon Bey, CEO of Standard Uranium, trading on the venture under STND, on the OTCQB under STTDF. To learn more about this company, I encourage you, visit standarduranium.com. And as the global push for energy security continues to accelerate, the uranium conversation is no longer sitting quietly in the background. Now, the real question is which companies are actually positioned to deliver when the market starts demanding results instead of just promises. That's the conversation investors need to be paying attention to right now. I'm Lyndsay Malchuk, and this is The Frontlines. If you want the conversations others are not asking with the companies everyone is watching, make sure to subscribe and stay with us because this market is just getting started.